Okay, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot, Tina Fey, Margot Robbie. Wait, who's it directed by? Wait, you're not Zach.
What?
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot?
They always wanna come, but they never wanna leave. Exist and they haunt me.
Whiskey Tango Foxtrot stars Tina Fey, Margot Robbie, and Martin Freeman, and is directed by
Len Ficarra and John Recker, known for Crazy Stupid Love and Focus from last year. Okay, so before we start, let's address the elephant in the room. This is our good friend Alex Irvine. He's begged and begged and begged us to join us for review, and this week we finally caved into the pressure.
I'm severely regretting that decision.
So this movie is based on the book Taliban Shuffle by Kim Barker, who is an American
Baker.
journalist.
You just said Kim Barker.
In real life, her name was Kim Barker.
Oh, is it?
In the early 2000s, travels to Afghanistan to cover the war there and kind of just chronicles her experiences there. Now, Alex, you read the book and you are our guest today, so let's start you off. What did you think of the movie?
Well, I will tell you, I was a little skeptical about this movie going into it after having read the book. I wasn't sure where they could really go with it, just because having read the book, it's so boring. And I was actually really pleasantly surprised. They did a great job of making a cohesive story and even balancing the sort of serious subject matter with humour. And I think that really helped push the story along, honestly, is the humour used throughout the film.
Personally, I enjoyed the film. There was a great mix of comedy and drama, and there was really all-round good performance by the actors and actresses. And also the film, the cinematography and editing was really well done as well.
I'm very, very mixed on this movie. I think it's a movie that ultimately isn't greater or equal to the sum of its parts, because I think at its core, you have some good acting by Tina Fey, Margot Robbie, Martin Freeman generally. You have pretty good direction, and it is funny when it tries to be funny. I think it's actually a bit misleading to call this a comedy drama, because it really is a drama with little bits of comedy splashed in there. But ultimately, this movie is trying to do way, way too much. There are a lot of different stories that it's going for here. There's obviously just a story about this journalist, Kim Baker or Barker in real life, and her journey in Afghanistan, her personal struggles. They also address a lot to do with the war in Afghanistan, the political situation there. The movie doesn't have much meat to it. It doesn't really go for any one particular thing. And I think, especially in the movie's third act, in the last maybe half an hour, 45 minutes, it becomes very confused and very muddled. There really isn't any clear kind of
resolution.
They're going for so many different things, and I just wish they would have focused on one particular thing.
And it just ends up feeling sort of unsatisfying.
Yeah, but when it really, really tries to make a strong message about the war in Afghanistan, it feels a bit fake, and it feels a bit...
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like it's really earned any of this, because the rest of the movie doesn't really set this up.
Trying to really pull away from what's actually happening there. So they're really, they're these, Americans, they're there for their job. At some point feel like they know what's going to happen, like people can die, it's a war zone, but really it does feel like a third world country, but definitely I wouldn't say it was a war zone.
The big issue with the movie was that because it was so inconsistent with whether it was they wanted to tell this personal story, whether they wanted to tell this really big war story, was that it kind of came across sometimes, and I know you felt the same way about this, where it felt like the war was inconveniencing her personal life. A lot of the movie kind of felt like, oh man, Tina Fey is really being let down by how bad this war is because she used to break up with her boyfriend. The thing is though, I don't think it's necessarily bad that it wants to take a personal look at an individual in the war environment, but when it's trying to make all these grandiose statements about the war in Afghanistan alongside this really personal story, it never quite works in the end.
But yeah, I think the movie actually did a great job of mixing her personal life with it, but the problem is it didn't capture those really big subjects or conflicts really that it was trying to, and it ends up just really falling flat on the whole big politics issues and the war in general.
So what did you guys think about the comedy in this movie? Obviously, it's written by Robert Carlock, who's been a long-time collaborator with Tina Fey. He was a writer on 30 Rock and a co-creator of Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, the Netflix show. How did you feel like the comedy worked in relation to this war movie, which at times is actually quite heavy-handed?
I personally thought that with the seriousness of the situation the characters were in, the comedy was a little bit jarring. I mean, there were points where you weren't sure if this serious situation was going to, end badly or continue being serious until you're expecting like a joke to be in there. But then if there's not a joke, you're really like, wow, that's really
See,
intense.
I disagree a little bit. I think there's two moments in this movie that are what you describe where it's really jarring. Like, they're both in the trailer for the movie, because I think this movie is very intentionally marketed quite differently to the final product, where the trailers make it come across as a really like funny comedy. When it is a funny movie, but I thought there's two occasions. There's one, they're both in the trailer. One refers to the very first time she comes out of the airport and she's chastised by an Afghani woman, and another one to do with a female driver. They're very funny moments in the movie, but they felt a bit forced. I thought the rest of the humour, though, actually felt very natural, and I think that was because of the leads, Martin Freeman, Tina Fey, Margot Robbie, as well as Alfred Molina, who plays an Afghan, I think he's the Attorney General. Let's not get into the casting a white man in a role of an Afghan. There's another major character, but that's a whole separate issue, which is quite troubling. But for what it is, he is quite funny in the movie. He's given a lot to work with, and also Billy Bob Thornton is really great as well as the colonel for one of the regiments of the U.S. Marines. Like, it felt like a very natural kind of humour. It wasn't, other than those two situations that I mentioned before, it never felt too out of place in my opinion.
And I think Tina Fey and Martin Freeman both really nailed the roles. Like, Martin Freeman, he's actually playing a Scottish person.
Yeah.
And is he Scottish in real life? He's not. No, he's not Scottish. He does a great accent.
And he's really funny as well.
Yeah,
and he's
exactly.
not known for his humorous role.
He really plays the sleazy Scottish guy so well. So, like, really sleazy and obnoxious and just a downright asshole. He plays it so well, and he's one of the standout characters in the film, without a doubt.
The setting, Afghanistan, was really shown in a brighter light than you'd imagine it to be.
Yeah, whether it's intentional or not, it made Kabul seem like the biggest party destination in the world. They sound like they're having a great time, which might be a bit to the detriment to the film's message overall.
I agree.
It really, it never felt like where they were staying was. I mean, they obviously go to battlefields and there's several scenes with Tina Fey riding in a truck and everything.
Yeah, she can hear gunshots outside her room.
But the city seemed like a really fun place to holiday, to be honest.
I think you really struck the nail on the head there, is that it's not meant to feel like a war zone, because it's meant to indicate their kind of false sense of security. And then when they go out actually into the war zone, shit really gets real. I mean, well, again, the movie's addressing that sort of adrenaline junkie thing that we hear about with American soldiers and journalists who go over there. They address it in The Hurt Locker as well.
While I think the direction and cinematography was good, I'm not sure that it necessarily fit the movie that they were going for, or that what they were going for, tonally it's right for the story that they're trying to tell. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and subscribe to our channel for more weekly awesome content. Sorry about last week, we had some unforeseen technical issues.
Zach was pregnant.
And so what are we going to be reviewing next week, Zach?
Next week we'll be... Sorry.
Ready?
No. Next week we'll be reviewing the next installment in the X-Men franchise, X-Men Apocalypse.
I'm really looking forward to that. I'm a big fan of the X-Men movies. So
Bryan Singer's back at it again with the X-Men films.
See you guys next week.